To play your E minor chord, first of all, we're going to start to read a chord diagram. Now, the chord diagram is on the screen there, and you can see we've got a mixture of lines going up and down, and a mixture of lines going left to right. It's quite hard to understand what these diagrams actually mean, first of all, but a way which I like to read them is, if you imagine you've got your guitar stood upright like that, actually take your guitar and stand it up in front of you now, so you're looking at it like this, and look at the diagram on the screen. So the lines that are going up and down the page, those are your strings, which are now going up and down if you're holding your guitar this way. And then the lines that are going across the screen, those are the fret markers, the little fret bars, which are going up and down your guitar, like that. So the strings are going up and down, just like they are now, and your frets are going left to right across, like that. Now, one of the first things to get used to is which string is which. Looking at the diagram, the string that's over on the left-hand side, that is your thickest E string, the string that sounds the lowest on your guitar. When you're holding your guitar up like that, that is also on the left-hand side. So your guitar actually matches what you can see in front of you on the screen. So first of all, look on your diagram. You can see on the left-hand side, we've got a 0 written above the string that's on the left-hand side. That is an open string, so it means we need to play our E string, and we're going to play it without pressing it down. So you're going to have to switch between having your guitar upright and on your lap for this, but once you get used to reading the diagram, you won't have to keep standing it up. So play your E string. Okay, that's an open string. Now stand your guitar back up again. On the string to the right of that, the next one, we can see that there's a black dot. Now, a black dot means that's a string you're going to have to press down with one of the fingers on your hand. Now, look at the string. It's the one that's to the right of your thickest E string, the one you've just played. That's your A string. So find that on your guitar now. It should be the second one to the right. If you know your string numbers as well, then that's your 5th string. Your thinnest string is string number 1, so you count across from the right hand side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5th string, or it's your second thickest one. Now, on the second thickest string, we're going to be pressing that string down at the 2nd fret. Look on the diagram, and you can see in the first space on the diagram, that's fret number 1, there are no dots written on that space, but on the next space down, that's the 2nd fret, that's where one of these black dots is. So we're going to be pressing down, go pick your guitar back up now, okay, sit with it normally. We're going to be pressing down the 2nd thickest string in the 2nd fret along, like that. So press down that string. It can be with any finger at the moment, and see if you can make it sound like that. That's how it should sound. Now, keep following that string down the page, and you'll see at the bottom of it, there's a 1. Now, the 1 is the finger on your fretting hand that you're going to use. So don't count your thumb. We don't really use our thumb for a lot of beginner chords. In fact, for any beginner chords, really. We're going to use our first finger, the index finger. So press that string back down at the 2nd fret. Try to position your finger as close as you can to the actual metal bar. That's called the fret. Don't put it on top of the fret, because then you won't get a clear sound, and don't put it far away from it, because then you'll get buzzing like that. Put it just behind the fret. Anywhere like that is fine. So now you should have 2 of the strings working. We've got our E string, the lowest string, and then our first finger on the 2nd fret A string. Now, if you look back on the diagram, we can see that the 2nd black dot, the next black dot, is immediately to the right of the one you're just pressing down. So keep your finger on the string, stand your guitar back up, and you can see that this black dot is actually on the 3rd thickest string, or the 4th string, if you count from the right hand side, 1, 2, 3, 4. That string is called the D string. Now, again, follow that string down on the diagram, and there's a 2 written at the bottom. That means you're going to have to use your second finger to press it down. The black dot is also written in the second space down on the diagram. That means that you're pressing this string down in the second fret, first, second, like that. So pick your guitar back up, and your second finger should fit underneath your first finger on the third thickest string. Play that string, it should sound like this. So now you've got both fingers, first and second finger, pressed down on the diagram. You can see that for the other three strings, which are all next to each other, we've got a 0 written above each one. That means that those are also open strings. So we're going to be picking the third, second and first string, but make sure that you're not pressing them down with any fingers. So the full chord should sound like this. Play all 6 strings and go from the string closest to the roof to the string closest to the floor. It should sound like this. Now to begin with, you might have this. Now that means that these first 2 fingers are not pressing down on the strings hard enough. Make sure that you're pressing down the strings using your fingertip. Can you see how there's a line on my finger there? That's just from pressing down the string for a couple of minutes. If you're not using that part of your finger, you're going to find it hard to press down on the string. What some people do to begin with is they'll try and wedge the string in between their nail and their fingertip, like that. It's quite hard to show on the camera. If you do that, it'll hurt quite a bit and you won't be able to press down the string. So use your fingertip like that. Don't use the fingerprint like this. Don't use that part of your finger, because then your fingers will just lay across the guitar like that and you won't be able to get any of these open strings that we've been talking about. So bend your finger, put it on its fingertip. Another thing which can help you get your fingers on the fingertip is the position of your thumb. Now you might see some guitarists with their thumb quite up high like this. That is usually because they're quite experienced at playing these chords and they don't need a lot of help to get their fingers to reach the notes. So your thumb should really be on the back of the neck. Look at the position of my thumb there. It's on the back of the neck. It's roughly in the middle of the neck, like that. And I'm going to be imagining that as I'm pressing down this E minor chord, I'm trying to push my first and second fingers together with my thumb like that. You should feel a little bit of pressure on this part of your hand there. There's actually a muscle in this part of your hand there. And you'll find that guitarists who have been playing for a long time have a bit of a bigger lump there on their fretting hand as opposed to the hand that they strum with. Now it does take a while to get that muscle developed. So to begin with, you're really going to have to press quite hard on your strings to make the notes actually work. If you're having some trouble making the open strings sound, then there's a few things you can try. What most people struggle with is they struggle with the 4th thickest string, which would be that one there, the 4th note down the chord. If you're finding that that string isn't making a sound, then you're not alone, because that's what most people get when they first start practicing this chord. To make that string ring a little bit more clearly, you need to get your second finger and make sure that you're pressing the string down with your fingertip, just like we looked at before. Make sure that your second finger isn't leaning over like that and touching the string. You have to try and put a space underneath the guitar neck and your hand. Can you see there that I can actually fit my finger underneath the guitar neck and between my hand? There's a general sort of rule or saying that I like to think about when I'm practicing chords or teaching beginners how to play chords. You should only really be touching the guitar with 2 things: your thumb, the thumbprint there, and your fingertips. If any of this part of your hand is wrapped underneath or on the back of the neck, you're going to really find it hard to position your fingers.